So under point operations, there are three main transformation functions used for image enhancement: linear transformation, logarithmic transformation, and power law transformation. So here we have plotted input gray level R versus output gray level S. Okay. So first we'll see identity transformation. So what is identity transformation? Identity transformation is having slope equal to 1. So S is equal to R. So what is the meaning of S equal to R? The output image will be exactly same as input image. Second transformation is negative, okay, or also known as negation. Okay, you must have seen negative films. Okay, so what happens in that? The black becomes white and white becomes black. So what is happening here? For bright value L minus 1, the corresponding output value is what? 0. So for a white pixel we are assigning black, and for a black pixel in the input we are assigning a white, okay, L minus 1. So these two are known as linear transformations. Which one? Identity and negative. Next is logarithmic transformation. So this is sorry. So this is your logarithmic transformation curve here. Okay. So what is happening here? You can see till this point L by 4. Okay. So input range 0 to L by 4 is mapped to the range, output range 0 to 3L by 4. So less input range, we are assigning more output range. So the pixels which were dark, okay, becoming bright in the output image. Okay, and the bright remains bright. So overall image will become bright. So whichever was not visible before becomes visible after applying a logarithmic transformation. And this is inverse log. So inverse log is exactly opposite to the, it is exactly opposite to this logarithmic transformation. Okay, so let me draw it properly. So this is inverse log, right? So what is happening here in the inverse log? The input range 0 to 3L by 4 is assigned to less output range, right? 0 to L by 4. So the brighter image becoming darker. Okay, so the effect of inverse log will be exactly opposite to log. And the third one is power law, that we'll see later. So in image negative, as I mentioned earlier, okay, the black pixels become white and white pixels become black, and in between values, okay, we'll get corresponding output values. So this is the transformation function L minus 1 minus R. So if the image is of 8 bit, okay, what will be, how many levels will be there? 256. So L minus 1 will be what? 255. So all the values, output values will be equal to 255 minus corresponding input gray level value. Okay, if it is 5-bit image, then this will be what? 31, right? If it is 3-bit image, then it will be 15. It will be what? 16 or 15? It will be 2 raised to 3 is what? Sorry, 2 raised to 3 is 8. So 7 minus R. 5-bit 32. Okay, so 31 minus R and so on. So here you can see this was the input image, and after applying negation you get this output image. The black pixels are becoming white, white pixels are becoming white, black, and in between values you are getting corresponding negative values for in between values. Okay. So function reverses the order from black to white when you apply negation. Used mainly in medical images, example X-rays. Next is logarithmic transformation. This you have to remember, S is equal to C log of 1 plus R, where R is the input variable value. So R is greater than or equal to 0, C is a constant, and S is the output variable value. So as I have explained earlier, this transformation maps a narrow range of input grade level values to a wider or more range of output level, gray level values, and the higher values of the input levels into a narrow range of output levels. So use this to expand the values of dark pixels in an image while compressing the higher level values. So as I mentioned earlier, the darker pixels become visible. Okay, so the important characteristics, it compresses the dynamic range of the images with large variation in pixel values. So now you know what is dynamic range. Okay, the grayscale covered by a image is called as a dynamic range. So this is a Fourier transform. When we will study frequency domain techniques, we will come to know what is how the Fourier transform looks like. So this is a Fourier transform original, and you can see the pixels are not visible here; they are darker. So after applying logarithmic transformation, you got this. So the pixels which were not visible before has become visible here. So generally, logarithmic transformation is applied after Fourier transform. Next is power law transformation. In power law transformation, this is the formula you have to remember. If they ask you the problem, you are just going to substitute the values and calculate the output matrix, output image matrix. Okay. So here C and gamma are the constants, positive constants. You can use this formula or this formula. Epsilon is a very small value. So here again there is a plot R versus S, and you can see here whenever gamma is equal to 1 and C is equal to 1, you get identity transformation, that is the relationship between S and R is what? S is equal to R. As you decrease the value of gamma, okay, the image becomes brighter, same as logarithmic transformation. As you increase the value of gamma, the image becomes darker, same as inverse log. Okay, so the exponent in the power law equation is referred to as gamma. The process used to correct this power law response phenomena is called as a gamma correction. So for example, CRT devices have an intensity to voltage response, that is a power response. So when we say it's an intensity, okay, when you want to display a particular image with a particular intensity on a monitor, okay, you will give voltage, right? What we are doing, we are giving voltage to a CRT or LED or LCD monitors or TV, so that we'll get a corresponding intensity for that particular image. Okay. So what is this gamma correction? Gamma correction is important, okay, for us when we want to display an image accurately on the computer screen. Okay, so gamma correction controls the overall brightness of an image, and images which are not properly corrected can either look like a bleached out, that is very bright images, or very dark images. So almost every computer from whatever manufacturer has one thing in common. They all have an intensity to voltage response curve which is roughly a 2.5 power function. This just means that if you send your computer monitor a message that a certain pixel should have intensity equal to X, okay, we want to display the pixel with intensity X, it will actually display a pixel which has intensity equal to X raised to 2.5, okay, because the range of voltage sent to the monitor is always between 0 to 1. 0 to 1. So this means that the intensity value displayed will be less than what you wanted to display on the monitor. For example, if I want to display zero point 0.5 intensity, so what will be the value? 0.5 into sorry 0.5 raised to 2.5, right? So that will be equal to around 0.177. So actually I wanted to have an intensity of 0.5. Because of this gamma value, okay, gamma value of the monitor, I am able to display the with 0.177 only. So that is a problem. So for this we need to apply a correction that is known as gamma correction. So not only the brightness but the colors are also can be reproduced accurately by using gamma correction, and wherein the amount of gamma correction changes not only the brightness but also the ratios of red to green to blue. So this is the example shown here. This is the original image A, B, then C and D. So A is the original image which we want to display on a monitor. So here you can see after displaying on the monitor, the image is not as a input image, original image, it is becoming darker than the input. Okay, so for this we want to do some gamma correction. So we are applying this in S is output gray level value is equal to input gray level value raised to 1 upon 2.5. Why 2.5? Because 2.5 is a factor which is common to all the display devices. Okay, so the input image becomes brighter than the original input image, and then when you give it to the monitor, whatever output you get, okay, which is close to the original image. So this image A and image D is same. So this is the input image which we wanted to display, and this is after the gamma correction we got on the monitor, which is similar to A. So these are the different images with different values of gamma. Here we have taken C equal to 1, and for different values of gamma. See here the gamma is equal to 3, then here it's 4, then it is 5. What I mentioned, as you increase the gamma value, the image is becoming darker. As you decrease the gamma value, the image is becoming brighter or bleached out images. Okay. So next is piecewise linear transformation function. In the beginning, I explained you what is piecewise contrast stitching. Now we'll see three different transformation functions: contrast stitching that we have already studied, then gray level slicing and bit plane slicing. So contrast stitching is simplest piecewise function. Low contrast is contrast result from poor illumination when you acquire the image, lack of dynamic range in the imaging sensors, or wrong setting of lens aperture during the image acquisition. So this is what I had explained you when I explained you contrast stitching. So there are three different slopes here. You can see. Suppose this is we'll take point A and this is point B. Okay, from 0 to A there is one slope. From A to B second slope, and B to C third slope. So maybe this is M1, we'll write M2 and M3. Okay, so this is input gray level value. We want to find out the corresponding output gray level value. Now, you suppose this is identity transformation. Okay, this m is equal to 1 means till this point the relationship between R and S is equal to R. Okay, after this, now you can see this is a less input range which is assigned to a more output range. So now naturally the contrast will increase for the objects which are lying in this area or this region, right? And then again here this is again identity transformation maybe, or you can have any other transformation depending upon the slope. So first thing is, you know this because you have the input image with you. Then you can find out the slope for this, because this point you know 0 0, and this point you will get user will provide you these values, corresponding output values. You can find out slope m1, m2, m3, and then you know slope, you know 1 point, so corresponding output point or output value of gray level you can find out. Okay, we'll solve the problem later on. So here you can see the effect of contrast stitching. So this was the input image on which the contrast stitching is applied, and you got this, okay, result of contrast stitching. And when you apply thresholding on this to convert this into binary image, black and white, you will get this output. Okay, so this is input image, this is output of contrast stitching, and this is output of thresholding. Now next is gray level slicing. Generally this is used to highlight a specific range of gray levels in an image. Okay, so there are two basic things, with background and without background. So first we will see without background. So this is again S versus R. Okay, now you see here, this is the transformation function. So what is happening till point A? Till point A, we are assigning some constant value here to the output. Okay, then A to B, another value, constant value. Okay, for this particular thing, and then from B to L minus 1, again this lower value. So maybe label, this is lower value and this is higher value, and we are assigning two values. So what will happen in between A and B, whatever objects are there, okay, they will be boosted up. We are boosting those values only. So you will get a we are in a way we are highlighting those objects. Okay, so I can have this type or I can have this way also. Okay, like this is, so what I'm doing, till this point A, I'm assigning 0 value at the output, and after B to L minus 1, again 0, and only in between A and B, I am having some values, or I'm boosting the values. Okay, so what will happen, you will get some objects, okay, which are falling in this region only, and the background will be black. Okay, why background will be black? Because we are assigning 0. So again, this will be a binary image, only two levels are there. Now this is with background. So with background means till A, whatever is there in the input image, okay, will get same at the output. So this is what identity transformation then. Okay, this is identity. And after B, again whatever is there in the input image, we want the same thing in the output image. So this will be again identity transformation. So only in between A and B we are boosting the values, okay, to some fixed values, maybe L minus 1 or maybe any value as per your requirement. So what you will get only the objects which are lying in between A and B, okay, highlighted, because we are boosting the values for them. Rest everything will be same as the input original image. So this is without background, this is with background. Okay. Next is bit plane slicing. To highlight the contribution made to the total image appearance by specific bits, okay, assuming that each pixel is replaced by 8 bits. So what is the meaning of this? When I say the image is of 8 bits, okay, I can represent each value, gray level value, using 8 bits, right? So when I say the gray level value is 1, suppose gray level value is 1, how I am going to represent using 8 bits? Like this, right? 001. Okay, so can I say that this 8 bits is equivalent to having 1 bit planes? Okay, 8 1-bit planes, like this. Okay, so this may be a bit plane 0 1 2 3 4, this is 7, this is 6, this is 5, and so on. So when I take one pixel here, okay, so pixel, this will be, suppose what, this is LSB or MSB, this is LSB, okay. So when I say it's a gray level 0, 1, so I can have 0 0 0 0 0 0 till 1, right? So if I combine all the LSBs of the image, then I'll get 0th plane, then first values, then first plane, then second value, second plane, third values, third plane, then all MSBs of the image pixels, then I'll get the 7th plane. So plane 0 contains the least significant bit and plane 7 contains the most significant bit. So actually when this generally we use bit plane slicing in compression, okay, so we can compromise on the lower bits, not the higher bits. Higher bits carries the most significant information related to image. So whenever we want to compress or we want to hide some information, we use lower bits, not the higher bits. So this is what I was explaining to you. This is 1 bit uh, these are the 8 planes of 1 bit. Okay, so this is most significant bit means the least significant plane. So these are the images which are generated by the computer, and you can see here these are different planes, 0 1, this is 0, then 1, then 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So the seventh that is the eighth plane has a maximum information, and the lower planes are not having much of information.